This is the VON Major Newscast.
Good evening, I am Tashan Tyson. In with the VON Major News package for today, Tuesday 19th March 2019. In our lead stories, nationally, St. Kitts and Nevis preparing for the visit of Prince Charles and wife Camilla. And Education Ministry in St. Kitts welcomes new CFPC president. Regionally, First Assistant Commissioner of Police appointed in Dominica. Internationally, U.S.-backed Syrian fighters overrun IS encampment. And in sports, England women beat Sri Lanka to win ODI series. We'll have the details of these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's Powerhouse.
Wow.
Welcome back, and now the national news in detail. Prince Charles and wife Camilla are due to arrive in St. Kitts on 21st March and will be met at the Robert Bratcher International Airport by top dignitaries led by Governor General Sir Tapley Seaton. While in the country, the Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall, the heir to the British monarch, will unveil a plaque with the following dates: 1794, 1973, 2019, and the Queen's canopy will be placed in a permanent position. A government statement said that a plaque presentation of the Queen's Commonwealth canopy, a project dedicated to the protection of indigenous forests above 1,000 feet, was presented to His Royal Highness Prince Harry by His Excellency, the Governor-General Sir Tapley Seaton, and unveiled by Prince Harry on November 23, 2016. The Queen's Commonwealth Canopy project was launched in 2015 when an appeal was made to all 53 Commonwealth nations to contribute areas of indigenous forests to be preserved in perpetuity to mark Her Majesty's lifetime of service to the Commonwealth. They will also visit the Hermitage in Nevis, which is today a plantation inn that offers traditional island hospitality and lifestyle for up to 35 guests. Before it was transformed into a plantation inn, the Hermitage was a great house built sometime between 1670 and 1740. It is said to be the oldest house in Nevis and the oldest surviving wooden house in the Caribbean, according to Jack Berthollet, author of the 1984 book Caribbean Style, who declared that in 20 years of studying Caribbean architecture from Suriname to Cuba, he had never found an older wooden house. Their Royal Highnesses will pay a visit to the Berkeley Memorial and the National Museum in downtown Basse-Terre, and will also attend receptions on both islands for members of the community, which will feature local music and culture. The Ministry of Education, MOE, officially welcomed Dr. Jacqueline Austin as the new president of the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College CFPC. This, as permanent secretary in the Education Ministry, Mr. Vincent Hodge, stated that the Ministry of Education is pleased with the selection of Dr. Austin as the new president of the CFB College. Dr. Austin officially took office on Monday, March 11th. He implied that her selection was made for quite some time, and he is encouraged that the process has reached to this stage of taking up the position. Dr. Austin is regarded as an effective consultant, planner, and advocate for higher education, having worked with the Caribbean Development Bank, CDB, and the European Union, EU. A graduate of the University of Leicester and the University of Manchester, Dr. Austin was the former director of the Barbados Community College. Moreover, the Barbados National recently served as a consultant to the Caribbean Development Bank, working across the region on technical and vocational education and training, TVET, focused initiatives. The Public Works Department, PWD, on St. Kitts will undertake a property condition survey. The survey entails workers from the PWD going house to house to make a structural assessment of all properties located 100 yards away from the center of the island main road. This covers properties on the left and right sides of the lane marking. In St. Kitts and Nevis, the lane marking is represented by a white, solid, or broken line. The Property Condition Survey is a prerequisite to commencement of Phase 2 of the Island Main Road Rehabilitation Project. On March 14, 2019, 9 local contractors officially signed contracts to commence Phase 2. Phase 2 of the island's main road rehabilitation project covers the area between Keyon and Challengers, traveling eastwards. The section of the island's main road that runs through Old Road will be upgraded in a separate rehabilitation project. The changing of the guard. That's the name of a new initiative which was introduced by the Brimstone Hill Fortress National Park Society on March 17th, as the society seeks to enhance the visitor experience. It is understood that the initiative will be a daily feature where soldiers dressed in the 4th West Indian Regiment uniform will stand guard at the fortress. In the wake of this, the Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Lindsay Grant, was quoted as saying, "These military men were our forefathers, and as a nation of people of predominantly African descent, we must reverence their memory." He added that this will be the first of what will become an hourly spectacle at the site, and visitors will enjoy the pomp and ceremony of the soldiers parading in the vivid colors. The Brimstone Hill Fortress is the first and only man-made fort in the Eastern Caribbean and was inscribed as a World UNESCO Heritage Site in December of 1999. As part of its commitment to continuously enhance its internal operations, the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force is retraining members of staff in the use of the Performance Development Review (PDR) appraisal instrument. The PDR is critical in identifying the strengths and weaknesses of police officers and helps to guide the internal training agenda of the organization. Departmental objectives are established based on role and rank, then each officer is held accountable to achieving those objectives and is assessed on their performance annually. Force Personnel Officer Clifford Govire and Director of the Bramshill Policing Advisors Steve France Sargent have been discussing how the PDR process can be improved during special consultations. Sessions were held in each district with gazetted officers and supervisors, also referred to as subordinate police officers, SPOs. The final consultation was held on Friday, March 15th in District A, while Districts B and C were done earlier. Mr. France Sargent, a consultant working along with the Police High Command, reminded the officers that the use of the PDR appraisal instrument increased accountability and was effective for realizing the objectives that have been set according to the 6-point plan and the Police Strategic Service Plan. Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley, will host his monthly press conference on Tuesday, 26th March. The event will commence at 10 a.m. at the Cabinet Room on the 2nd floor of the Social Security Building at Penny's Estate. At the press conference, Premier Brantley will provide an update on matters of national interest. Members of the press will have the opportunity to ask questions. The proceedings will be carried live here on Von Radio. That's the national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com or check us out on Facebook at Von Radio or our Von Radio YouTube channel for these and other stories. News from across the region is next.
Ladies and gentlemen, this here's another one for the steppers.
Swipe to win big in 2019. That's right, the Bank of Nevis Limited is once again giving you, our valued customers, a chance to win big. Just swipe or use your Bond Visa credit card for US $100 for a chance to win a cruise for two, an iPhone XS, or a grocery dash at Best Buy Supermarket.
Say what?
Sign up for a Bond Visa credit card and automatically be entered for a chance to win. This offer ends August 31st, 2019. So tell your friends and family, just swipe to win big with the Bank of Nevis. The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life. Like us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram.
Welcome back. Another regional news in detail. Out of Dominica. Superintendent of Police Richmond Valentine has become the first police officer to be appointed to the position of Assistant Commissioner of Police in Dominica. An amendment to the Police Act, which was passed in Parliament on the 3rd of May 2018, cleared the way for that appointment. Minister responsible for national security, Rayburn Blackmore, had said in Parliament during debate on the amendment that the bearer of that position will be required to report directly to the Deputy Chief of Police and will have the responsibility of crime prevention, crime reduction, crime intelligence and forensic management, and will provide strong support to the Chief of Police in those areas in advancing and developing the police force as a professional organization. Acknowledged that in his new position, he will be responsible for crime and operation at a higher level, the career cop stated that he considered himself to be a professional police officer and will continue to discharge his duties honestly and with integrity and with the highest level of professionalism possible. Valentine guaranteed that he will do all that is lawfully possible to provide a safe and secure environment for Dominican citizens. Out of Trinidad. A man who touched the bottom of a 72-year-old woman was today, Tuesday, sent to jail. The magistrate told John Charles that carnival was over and he could not just pick up something and run with it, as she made reference to the Mr. Killer's Power Soca winning tune. Charles earlier said he was guilty of indecently assaulting the woman while at the Central Market at Macurapo Street, San Fernando. The court heard through police prosecutor Cleon Seaton that on Monday, the victim was walking to the washroom when she was approached by Charles. Seaton said Charles told the woman, "I'm not drunk today," and grabbed her buttocks. San Fernando magistrate Alicia Chankar told him his actions were wrong and there was no excuse for violating a person. The woman said that she had known Charles by seeing him. "I just want him to get jail, that is all," she told the court. Charles, who was on bail for another offense, was jailed for 30 days with hard labor. Haiti's lower chamber of deputies fired Prime Minister Jean-Henri Anand and his government on Monday, deepening uncertainty amid a political and economic crisis that led to violent protests last month, and the U.S. and Canada warning citizens not to travel to the country. The swift no-confidence vote came with hardly any debate and after Lower Chamber President Gary Bourdieu noted that neither Anand nor any of his cabinet ministers were present. Deputies voted 93-6 in favor of censuring the government, with 3 lawmakers abstaining. Anand and his 21-member cabinet will remain in office as caretakers until a new prime minister is named by President Jovenel Moise and a new government takes control after both chambers of parliament approve. Under Haitian law, a caretaker, prime minister and government can only oversee the country's day-to-day affairs and cannot enter into any new contracts. This will have major ramifications for not only Haiti's ongoing economic crisis. Inflation is 15% annually, and the cost of basic staples is skyrocketing, but also on the immediate disbursement of millions of dollars in badly needed international aid. Out of the BVI. Premier Andrew Foy wants jurisdictions within parts of the Caribbean to unite to collectively put up resistance against global superpowers such as the United States, the United Kingdom, and the European Union (EU). The Premier told member countries of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States (OECS) last week that they and the BVI share similar struggles from one or both of those superpowers. In that vein, he said, OECS countries have a shared interest to defend and protect their respective financial services sectors from what he described as unfair and onerous demands from a few of the United Kingdom Parliament and the European Union. Members of the UK Parliament and in some respects the EU have been gunning to impose policies that disadvantage the territory's financial services product. There are also proposals to force same-sex marriage and other policies on the BVI and other overseas territories. And finally, Buju Banton returned to the stage in a moment fit for the ages last Saturday evening at the National Stadium in Kingston. After an almost 10-year hiatus, patrons dug deep to pay big bucks for the monumental experience. Traffic blocked roads leading to the National Stadium as thousands eagerly made their way to the highly anticipated Long Walk to Freedom concert. Minutes after 11 p.m., MC Ellis Kelly welcomed the Gargamel to the stage. He appeared clad in full white while fans screamed and tried to capture the moment on their cell phones. The white light that beamed around the Singjay, coupled with his opening prayer, "Have mercy on me," made it a truly celestial moment. Buju Banton wasted no time to deliver the long-awaited performance. Prancing across the stage, he thrilled fans with his powerful vocals. Songs such as Not an Easy Road, Hills and Valleys, and Destiny had members of the audience in tears as the singer enticed their ears and hearts. That's it for Regional Stories. Stay with us for news from around the world. Welcome back, and now the international news in detail. U.S.-backed Syrian fighters are reported to have overrun an encampment that made up most of the last patch of territory held by the Islamic State group. The Syrian Democratic Forces SDF alliance said militants refusing to surrender had pulled back to a sliver of land along the river Euphrates south of Baghuz, and that clashes continued. Although it warned the battle was not over, some fighters began celebrating. The BBC's Ali Makbul reports.
Here, local fighters are returning from the front lines in celebration of what they feel is the end of the so-called Islamic State. It comes after a massive ground offensive backed by the warplanes of the US-led coalition. We saw trucks leave the area that we were told were packed with hundreds of IS militants, some still with their families. Territory controlled by the group once stretched over an area larger than Britain. They oppressed and massacred and planned attacks abroad. That territory is now gone, but though they celebrate, the fighters we saw all know the threat of the group's ideology in the region is still very much alive.
Boeing has told airlines it expects to have new software for its 737 MAX plane ready for the end of the month. The plane has been grounded following the Ethiopian Airlines aircraft crash earlier this month. Boeing's Dennis Muilenburg, who is the chairman, president, and chief executive of the company, said in an open letter, "Soon we'll release a software update and related pilot training for the 737 MAX that will address concerns discovered in the aftermath of the Lion Air Flight 610 accident." That was the same system used by a Lion Air 737 MAX which crashed off the coast of Indonesia last year. The German Chancellor Angela Merkel has said she'll fight for an orderly Brexit until the very last moment of the date on which Britain is currently scheduled to leave the European Union, the 29th of March. Her comments came as Britain's Prime Minister Theresa May prepared to meet European leaders to seek an extension of the Brexit deadline. The BBC's Laura Kursberg reports from Westminster.
The big question for Cabinet this morning was what on earth the Prime Minister should say when she arrives in Brussels on Thursday. Now, people who are familiar with the conversations in the room tell me that there was no overall agreement, as ever. It seemed, I'm told, that the Prime Minister was trying again to not come down particularly hard on one choice or another, and there wasn't necessarily agreement, but it seemed the direction of travel is for her to ask for a short extension up until the end of June, but with, guess what, the possibility, should that not work out, of extending for a period of time up to 2 years.
And finally, a leading air charity said an aerial surveillance of Mozambique's cyclone hit province shows that a 50-kilometer stretch of land is underwater. 1.7 million people were in the direct path of Cyclone Ida in Mozambique. Orosh Aishimwa from the International Federation of the Red Cross says the situation of the town in Barra is desperate.
Our teams in Beira are reporting that we are looking at a humanitarian nightmare. So you're talking about displacement, diseases, hunger, homelessness. So it's a very scary picture. It's horrifying. Some of them are still waiting to be rescued. Access has been one of the challenges. Roads have been blocked. So some of the people are still trapped.
In Malawi, more than 100,000 people have been affected. The storm also caused widespread damage in eastern Zimbabwe, where nearly 100 people have died. That brings us to the end of our news segments. The latest in sports is next.
Calling all farmers. The place to shop in the month of March is the TDC Home and Building Depot. Get a 20% off all agro products. Then on Saturday, March 30, visit the farmers market to purchase your fresh produce direct from the farm to your table from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. in both locations. TDC Home and Building Depots. Celebrating farmers, supporting communities. Terms and conditions apply. See stores for details.
Welcome back. Another sports in detail. In cricket, England's women claimed the one-day series in Sri Lanka by winning the second match of the three-game contest to take an unsaleable 2-0 lead. Sri Lanka was restricted to 187 for 9 in their 50 overs, with left-armer Alex Hartley taking 3 for 36. Openers Amy Jones, 54, and Tammy Beaumont, 43, got England's chase off to a strong start. Lauren Winfield scored 44 before Heather Knight and Danny Wyatt saw England over the line in 33.3 overs. The final match of the ODI series takes place on Thursday before 3 2020 internationals. Summarized scores: Sri Lanka 187 for 9 in 50 overs, England 188 for 4 in 33.3 overs. In Special Olympics. As the Special Olympics World Games continue, the St. Kitts Nevis team secured more medals on Monday, March 18th. Jamal Merchant placed 6th in the 25K cycling event. And earlier today, Tuesday, March 19th, Robert Liddy, son of Peter Wilshire, secured gold in the 10K cycling event, and another Nevisian, Shane Nisbet, secured the silver medal. In basketball, Dallas Mavericks power forward Dirk Nowitzki overtook all-time great Wilt Chamberlain to go to 6th on the NBA scores list during his side's defeat by the New Orleans Pelicans. Nowitzki, who is expected to retire at the end of the season, surpassed the LA Lakers and Philadelphia 76ers legend during the first quarter, receiving a standing ovation from the crowd. The Mavericks lost 129 to 125 in overtime. The 40-year-old's 31,424 points total puts him a place behind Michael Jordan. LA Lakers' LeBron James went ahead of Jordan on the all-time list earlier in March, reaching 32,311 points in 1,190 games. And finally, the head of Japan's Olympic Committee, JOC, is stepping down over corruption allegations relating to the awarding of the 2020 Games to Tokyo. Sunikazu Takeda is being investigated by French prosecutors who are looking into claims a €2 million bribe was paid to secure Tokyo's winning bid. The Japanese government has always insisted its Tokyo bid is clean. The company of which the payment was made is linked to the son of former World Athletics chief Lamine Dayak, who was a member of the International Olympic Committee when it awarded the Games to Tokyo, and is the subject of corruption allegations being looked at by French investigators. Takeda's tenure ends in June. That's it for sports. The general weather report is next. Welcome back. Another look over the forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. Weather tonight will be partly cloudy with a 20% or slight chance of showers. Weather tomorrow will be partly cloudy with a 20% or slight chance of showers. Winds are east at 15 to 22 kilometers per hour or 8 to 12 knots. Seas are 1.2 to 1.5 meters or 4 to 5 feet. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 6:16 a.m. And that's her wrap up the major news package for today, Tuesday, 19th March 2019. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, St. Kitts and Nevis preparing for the visit of Prince Charles and wife Camilla, and Education Ministry in St. Kitts welcomes new CFPC president. Regionally, First Assistant Commissioner of Police appointed in Dominica. Internationally, U.S.-backed Syrian fighters overrun IS encampment. And in sports, England women beat Sri Lanka to win ODI series. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tashan Tyson, wishing you a pleasant evening.
and vibrate. The whole Caribbean must shake.
860 AM, the Powerhouse.
It is now 6:31 in the Eastern Caribbean. Good evening to one and all out there in Radio Land. Today is Tuesday, the 19th day of March, 2019. I am Melissa Martin. I'll be keeping you company this evening.
It's been days, months, years since I've seen you. Mama said you'll be back. It's getting hard to believe. Each and every day I wait, each and every day I pray you'll come back into my life. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? I want you right here next to me. Where are you? Where are you? I wanna feel your warm embrace. There's no greater love than a father's love. There's no greater heart than a father's heart. There's no greater kiss than a father's kiss. There's no greater presence that I miss. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? I want you back where you belong. Time after time, I've waited by the phone, hoping you would call and say, son, I'm coming home. And year after year, these tears disappeared, and all I really wanted was you back where you belong. Where are you? Where are you? I want you right here next to me. Where are you? Where are you? I wanna feel your warm embrace. No greater love than a father's love. There's no greater heart than a father's heart. There's no greater kiss than a father's kiss. There's no greater presence that I miss. Where are you? Where are you? I want you back where you belong. Where you belong. I don't really know if you really know the hurt I feel inside, unexplainable. This void you've left inside, it's so hard to hide. I want you back where you belong. I don't really know if you really know the hurt I feel inside, unexplainable. This void you've left inside, it's so hard to hide. I want you back where you belong. I just want you back where you belong. I want you back where you belong. I just want you back where you belong. There's no greater love than a father's love. No greater heart than a father's heart. There's no greater kiss than a father's kiss. No greater presence that I miss. I want you back where you belong.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Till you walk with a low reputation and service for second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business property, we got you covered. Motor or personal, whatever it is, or 469-5303. Delia Walwyn, people you can trust.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. An hour passes quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's Youth on the Go. Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Let's go, let's go, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. This storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
My mother said I'm too romantic. She said you're dancing in the movie. I almost started to believe her. Then I saw you and I knew. Maybe it's 'cause I got a little bit older. Maybe it's all that I've been through. I'd like to think it's how you lean on my shoulder and how I see myself with you. I don't say a word, but still you take my breath, and still the things I know. There you go, saving me from out of the cold. Fire on fire, we're normally killers. With this much desire, together we're winners. They say that we're out of control, and some say we're sinners. But don't let them ruin our beautiful rhythms. 'Cause when you unfold me and tell me you love me, and look in my eyes, you are perfection, my only direction. It's fire on fire. It's fire on fire. When we fight like lions. But then we love and feel the truth. We lose our minds in a city of roses. We won't abide by any rules. I don't say a word, but still you take my breath, and still the things I know. There you go, saving me from out of the cold. Fire on fire, we're normally kids with this much desire. Together we're winners. They say that we're out of control, and some say we're sinners. But don't let them ruin our beautiful rhythms. 'Cause when you unfold me and tell me you love me, and look in my eyes, you are perfection, my only direction. It's fire on fire. Oh, it's fire on fire. Fire on fire, we're normally killers, but this much desire, together we're winners. They say that we're out of control, and some say we're sinners. But don't let them ruin our beautiful rhythms. Fire on fire, we're normally kids with this much desire. Together we're winners. They say that we're out of control, and some say we're sinners. But don't let them ruin our beautiful rhythms. 'Cause when you unfold me and tell me you love me, and look in my eyes, you are perfection, my only direction. It's fire on fire. You are perfection, my only
am your presenter, Sidama Jones of the Inland Revenue Department, with today's presentation of Tips for Tax. For today's presentation, I will focus on the renewal of business and occupation licenses. Please note that all business and occupation licenses is payable annually on or before January 31st and is valid until December 31st. A receipt from the Register of Companies and the Navy's Financial Services Regulatory Commission, where applicable, must be presented for all companies in order to complete the renewal process. We wish to also advise that failure to renew on or before January 31st will result in an interest charge of 1% monthly. Additionally, a penalty of $50 per day for every day the license remains unpaid will also be charged, which is in accordance with the Licenses on Businesses and Occupations Amendment Act 2009, Section 5. This was your Tax Fact brought to you from the Inland Revenue Department. For more information, visit our office at the R.G. Solomon Arcade or call us at 469-5856, extension 5024, or 6018.
The Vance W. Amory International Airport has been growing in service to all travelers. With regular flights to and from Puerto Rico, St. Martin, and Antigua, in addition to other islands, it is a viable and convenient option for residents and visitors of Nevis traveling anywhere. Enjoy the convenience, avoid the hassle, support Nevis. Use the Vance W. Amory International Airport.
Yeah, hope you like chocolate.
check courtesy Midtown number 2 in Phillipsburg, St. Martin. Call 1721-542-0614 or 1721-542-0590 or fax 1721-542-0569 for reservations at Midtown Motel number 2 on Front Street, St. Martin.
It is now 6:46.
Sugar City St. Kitts. Keep it sweet. Keep listening to Vaughn.
Getting ready to go.
It is now 9 minutes before the hour of 7 o'clock. Up next, BBC Sports.
Time now for the latest world sport from the BBC with me, Adi Adedoyin. So to a Super League in European club football.
what's been talked about is some sort of European league sort of top flight, and then a second flight and a third flight, with promotion and relegation between the two.
Details of UEFA's meeting with the European Club Association in Nyon to come. The head of the Japanese Olympic Committee has stepped down amid corruption allegations. And in boxing,
this ain't being arrogant. This is not being cocky. This is what I believe in my heart. I am the man in the heavyweight division.
Deontay Wilder vows to knock out his mandatory challenger, Dominic Breazeale. That's to come, but first, European football's governing body UEFA has been meeting with the European Club Association in Nyon, Switzerland today. They were considering major changes to the structure of existing European club competitions with a view from the leading club's perspective of playing each other more often. Football journalist Gabriel Marcotti explains what the potential proposals involve.
Certainly what's been talked about, what's been looked at is some sort of European league sort of top flight, and then a second flight and a third flight, effectively with promotion and relegation between the two. So in other words, teams that finish bottom in this newfangled Champions League, although it might be called something else, would be relegated, so to speak, to the Europa League, and teams that do well in the Europa League would play in the Champions League the following year.
The BBC's Shoja Saka says the proposed restructure could happen by 2024.
Last year, the German publication Der Spiegel alleged that the top European clubs were ready to go with this in 2021. That's only a couple of years away, but that was before UEFA got involved. In reality, if something like this were to happen, I'm guessing you're looking at maybe 5 years from now. There has been opposition already to this, as you would expect from the domestic leagues, because big clubs going off and playing a bunch of European games at weekends would clearly mess up the domestic league and cup programs quite drastically. How many fans would travel to 15 away games in a season across Europe? Well, who knows? All of this goes to the heart of football, but we've seen money trump sentiment in sport before in the past.
The former Russia striker Pavel Pogrebnyak has been criticized for saying it's laughable to have black players in the Russian national team. His comments have been condemned by Russian President Vladimir Putin's human rights advisor. Pogrebnyak, who played 33 times for Russia, was talking about the Brazilian-born naturalized Russian striker Ari, who has 2 caps for his new national side. Mikhail Fedotov, head of the Russian Presidential Human Rights Council, said Pogrebnyak's comments smelt of racism. Sever Boyka is from BBC Russia. He says there's uncertainty as to whether the former Fulham striker will be punished for his comments.
The deputy anti-discrimination officer for the Russian Football Union said that the ethics committee of the union will hold hearings on Pogrebnyak case very soon. Today, the head